there is going to be there needs to be an inquiry straight after this. Why? What? Well, that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you.
Then take his license away, because you have to send the right message out to the rest of the people that are out there that think they can actually get away with doing whatever it is he's done.
The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually...
Rumors exploded after that shocking first-round knockout. Was it really all legit, or was a script already written? Fans struggled to believe that Dillian, a man known for grit and toughness, folded so quickly. Whispers spread around ringside, questioning whether this was pure boxing or pure theatre.
It's not boxing. What it is, it's an event. It's like a misfit type of event. That's what it is, and everybody...
Duke McKenzie blasted the Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte fight, insisting that a cheat should never step into the ring. And then came the bombshell. A so-called fight script leaked on Twitter just hours after the bout. Fans were left fuming, calling it an absolute fix, a disgrace to heavyweight boxing. A first-round knockout followed by a leaked script? To many, it made the whole event look rotten to the core.
If it was me, take his license away. You know, because you cannot cheat in the sport of boxing. Not if you're going to put on a pair of...
And Johnny Nelson's furious response only poured fuel on the scandal. Outraged and stunned, Nelson blasted the Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte fight for descending into nothing but drama. With a so-called script leaking after the bout, he said the boxing world were being treated like fools, sold a fake story instead of a real fight. Fans came expecting a war, but what they got looked like a dirty fix designed to deceive.
Then I trust the boxing board when it comes to that kind of thing, because remember, if anything bad happened, they would be liable as well for letting this go ahead. So all these things have got to be taken into account.
Eddie Hearn tried to stay calm, but his reaction only amplified the noise. The leaked fight script sent fans into meltdown, convinced the bout was never real competition. What was billed as a heavyweight test between Moses and Dillian Whyte ended up feeling more like stage theatre, a scripted drama that insulted boxing fans worldwide.
Guys requested it, so everybody gets alerted at the same time. The story this morning broke, obviously, after people were aware of that situation.
And when Eddie spoke again, doubling down, the controversy erupted. Hearn admitted the board and legal teams are now involved, with a full investigation on the table. That alone shows how filthy the situation looks. A leaked fight script, followed by a first-round knockout. Fans feel mugged off, calling the Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte bout nothing but stage drama under the lights, not real boxing.
Right now, obviously, the legal teams are speaking with the board. They have to be comfortable as well to obviously sanction the fight. And we'll see.
Buddy McGoat didn't hold back. You could hear the frustration cut through every word. He called it a disgrace that anyone would encourage a fighter to take part in something so rotten. For McGoat, this wasn't just about a stage fight. It was about the danger of real men stepping into a ring, only to be part of a scripted circus. Fans had already seen the so-called fight script leak, and when you had a first-round knockout that looked far too easy, the whole Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte clash stinks of a dirty fix. McGoat's warning was sharp. This isn't just embarrassing, it's dangerous. A stage fight doesn't just fool the audience, it puts fighters' lives at risk. Boxing should be real combat, not scripted theater.
Take stuff like that. I think is, I just think it's really messed up and I think that if someone will encourage a fighter to do that, I think they should be banned as well as the fighter. You know what I mean? Why would you encourage someone to, how I see it is this, you're doing something like that, somebody can get seriously hurt.
Frank Warren wasn't buying into the script leak storm, dismissing it as absolute lies and accusing others of trying to con the public. But the timing was too perfect to ignore. The so-called script surfaced on Twitter just after Dillian Whyte was stopped in the very first round, exactly as it was written. That eerie coincidence split the fan base in two. Some backed Warren's offense, but many more felt betrayed, convinced this wasn't coincidence at all. For them, boxing had been mocked on the biggest stage. A heavyweight clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte should have been a war. Instead, it played out like a staged act. Warren might try to protect the sport's image, but the damage is already done. Once a seed of doubt is planted, trust is shattered, and boxing fans don't forgive being treated like fools.
Because they're conning the public. They're making something, making up something. So then we put the fire out.
And then Tony Jeff poured fuel on the fire, saying the outcome was obvious from the start. He captured the frustration of thousands of fans, admitting that even before the script leak, everyone could already see what was coming, Dillian folding in round 1. That's why the leak stung so much. It didn't shock anyone. It confirmed the darkest suspicions. Fans tuned in expecting a real heavyweight battle, a chance of Moses Itauma to prove himself against a seasoned veteran. Instead, they watched Dillian crumble in a way that looked rehearsed, like it was always written into the script. Jeff's words cut through the noise because he spoke what everyone was thinking. The result wasn't just predictable, it was inevitable. And when inevitability meets a conveniently leaked script online, it doesn't feel like boxing. It feels like theater. Drama belongs in the ring, not in a Twitter leak.
Stop right there. Even before I seen this script, that's exactly what was going to happen. Like, what else would happen?
Eddie Hearn didn't sugarcoat a thing. He flat out said it. Dillian Whyte is finished. 4 years. Whyte carried a reputation as a warrior, a man built on grit and granite toughness. But Eddie's blunt words only confirmed what the world saw with their own eyes. His resistance is gone. And when that kind of collapse happens in the very first round, only to be followed by a conveniently leaked fight script, the whole event starts to reek of something dainty. Instead of celebrating Moses' rise, the conversation shifted. Fans weren't asking how good the young lion looked. They were asking if the fight was staged, if Whyte's career ended in a scripted humiliation. Hearn's brutal honesty drew a line under it. There's no future left for Dillian at heavyweight. The real debate now isn't about retirement. It's about whether he cashed out his legacy in a fight that looked more like theater than combat. And that betrayal, more than the knockout itself, is what cuts boxing deepest.
Want to see Dillian carry on?
No, definitely not.
Future with any other heavyweight?
No, but you could see the shots, I mean, Dillian's renowned for his toughness. Do you know what I mean? And, I think he was, those shots were cupping shots, but you could tell I think his punch resistance gone, and I think that'll be the end for him then.
Dillian Whyte rushed to defend the shocking first-round collapse, pointing to injuries in a well-timed early shot. But fans weren't buying it. The problem is simple. The leaked script, which surfaced right after the fight, had already predicted this exact scenario. Dillian going down early. So when Dean insists it was just bad luck, it feels less like truth and more like desperate damage control. Supporters remember Dillian as a man built on grit and toughness, a fighter who could eat bombs and keep walking forward. Yet against Moses Itauma, he folded almost instantly. That's why the injury excuse rings hollow. Instead of silencing critics, it fuels the belief that this was stage theater, not real combat. And now the whole boxing world is left asking the uncomfortable question, did Dillian fall because of punches, or because the script demanded it?
But I think everyone's talking about, Dillian having an injury, and I think they've probably got wind of that. I thought that we're just going to press it early and see what we're given. And, he was caught quite early on the back of the head and on the side. And
Duke McKenzie didn't hold back. He flat out suggested that Dillian Whyte cashed out, and that's what makes this scandal reek even worse. Fans were already convinced the fight was scripted, with a Twitter leak matching reality far too neatly. Then Duke's words dropped like a hammer. Maybe it was never about pride, only money.
Look at your career at the end of your career. You'll look at your bank balance and say to yourself, you know what, it was worth it. Dillian Whyte can look at his bank balance and say, last night's fight was worth it. Did he do it for the money? He probably did. Moses Itauma is a huge name, and it would have been a massive scalp to have had, but it was never going to be the case.
The storm around Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte refuses to fade. A brutal first-round knockout, followed by a conveniently leaked script, has fans split between belief and betrayal. If Moses truly won clean, his rise is unstoppable, a young lion cementing himself as a future of the heavyweight division. But if the whispers are true, and this clash was scripted, then boxing stands on dangerous ground. A sport built on blood, sweat, and honor risked being reduced to theater under the lights. And then there's Dillian. Once respected for grit and toughness, he now faces a darker question. Did he fall under fire, or did he sell out for one last payday? In the end, the punches hurt less than the doubt. Because when honor is stained, the whole sport suffers. So tell me, Was this a genuine fight, or the ugliest fixed heavyweight boxing has ever seen?